Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the Managing Director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. This video is simply designed to discuss revocation of Thai work permits. It's kind of a misnomer that out there that sort of once a work permit or a visa for that matter is issued, it's going to perpetually be reissued or be renewed. That is not the case. In fact, here recently, it's been my experience that immigration and visa authority, or immigration and work permit authorities have become more stringent in their scrutiny of those who are physically present in Thailand in work permit and visas and business visa status. But that being stated, we're specifically talking about work permits here. One thing should be noted most of all, those who own a small business here in Thailand who are using that business essentially not only as a vehicle to earn a living, but as a vehicle to maintain lawful long-term status, business visa status, work permit status, should take note of the fact that Labor Department will routinely heavily scrutinize work permit applications on companies that aren't earning any income. There may have been a time in the past where one could sort of set up a company and just sort of do the bare minimum, essentially file zero income tax, in a given year or in given months, and sort of be able to, get by just on the pro forma or just on the sort of prima facie documentation submitted to the work permit or to the Labor Department. If that was ever the case, and I don't know to what extent that it ever truly was the case, really, but if that was ever the case, that's come to an end. It's no longer a possibility to maintain renewal of a work permit without showing at least some amount of income earned on a company in a given year, the previous year, what we're talking about, at least, and some taxes paid thereon. That's the important part. To be clear, in my personal opinion, one of the main criteria for work permit reissuance is going to be, has this person contributed to Thai society in the form of paying taxes on their business? If the business hasn't done anything, and to be clear, it's been my experience that in most cases, Labor Department officers are rather compassionate. I don't even know what the right word is. They're understanding as far as, the notion of a startup company goes. Look, we haven't made any money in the first 9 months, but we made some money the past 3 months. People will, these officers are not, they understand what their function is, which is it's labor certification. We're talking about a business here, and a new business is not necessarily going to immediately just overnight start, blowing gold all over the place. It takes time to get a business moving. It takes time to get income generating. Thai authorities understand this, but there is a certain point where it's just not going to be tenable any further, and a reissuance of a work permit is simply not going to happen after a certain period of time. And there's no way to definitively say it what that period of time is. My personal opinion, if one goes longer than about 2 years without showing some form of income in one's company, I just don't foresee it's going to be real likely that that a Labor Department officer is going to go ahead and reissue that work permit. So it should be noted that a revocation may occur. If a work permit revocation happens, then presumably the visa is going to be revoked at the same time if one's on a business visa. And usually when a Thai work permit is canceled, the person who held that work permit is going to have 7 days to get out of Thailand, to depart Thailand and remain in lawful status. The other thing to keep in mind with respect to work permit is the fact that once a work permit is in fact denied, it's going to be very difficult to go back and reapply for said work permit. One has to show a pretty high level of changed circumstances to go back in and reapply for that same permit. So that being said, although I think that the officers are pretty reasonable in their expectations with respect to new companies especially, already going concerns, if just 1 year out of nowhere you go from making, a reasonable amount of revenue to just nothing, probably your biggest problem is not going to be the labor department, it's probably going to be the revenue department under those circumstances. This video is more for, new company startups. As I say, they're going to be fairly reasonable with respect to the notion that, yes, okay, it takes a little time for a company to go ahead and get up and running. But that being said, after a certain fairly reasonable, I look at it about 18 months, 2 years, if you're not showing any kind of revenue within that company, it's going to be very, very unlikely that you're going to be able to see a renewal of a work permit.